guys, returning anew. If you are new to this channel, my name is Rudakova. I'm a professional chef, nutritionist and wine lover. I've started this channel some time ago already to share with you my knowledge of the culinary world. If you've known me personally, you'd know that I travel and relocate a lot. I've lived all around Europe, Russia, UK and for the past 2 years, Canada. And I feel the burden of leaving behind friends and connections with each relocation. That's why I'm really hoping to grow here a community of kind and like-minded foodies that can keep on virtually traveling with me and help each other to grow. So yeah, subscribe and like this video, if you do of course. Okay, we're way off the topic now. You've obviously clicked this video because you wanted to know what I've learned and what you can potentially learn while getting a culinary education. So here are the top 10 things: nails, makeup and accessories. While it may be apparent for many, I've really understood it fully while studying. Once you step into a commercial kitchen, all the nail polish, makeup, watches, rings, earrings and bracelets should stay outside. And it all makes sense if you think about it. For basic hygiene reasons, like nail polish could chip off. Makeup would probably not, but if you're staying on the line, which is an industry term for staying at a specific designated place in the kitchen, like the sauté station or grill, it gets really hot. And your heavy makeup would just melt off and you would need to leave the station to clean your face or something like that. And I'm giving so many details like it's actually happened to me, which it didn't, I just have a vivid imagination. So you get the point. Hygiene is extremely important in the kitchen. Don't overcrowd your working space. That was a hard one for me to grasp, but once I finally did, it made my workflow and further work experience so much easier. In the real life industry, kitchens are really tiny. Restaurant owners prefer to maximize the sitting area for the clients and give the minimum possible space for the kitchen, where all the magic happens. Therefore, your working space would be limited to just one cutting board most likely. And while working in such high-paced environment, you really don't want to have lots of stuff going on your board. Let's say you're turning potatoes. In this scenario, the golden rule would be to have just your turning knife, one knife, not all the collection of your knives. A wet towel to clean the board once you are done, a bowl with the peeled potatoes, and a bowl where you're going to put your turned potatoes. Nothing more. Oh yeah, and no personal items, like mobile phones and water bottles on the station. They really get in your way during the service, plus, hygiene. Towels. Trust me on that, you won't get far with just one towel while working in the kitchen. You need one towel for lying beside your cutting board to always keep it clean. 1 or 2 towels for handling pots and pans, because oven mittens are usually really scarce and you can never find them when you need them. 1 towel for drying your hands. 1 or 2 towels for your classmates and colleagues, because they will forget theirs and just take yours without asking in a rush. And so the list goes on. I usually have at least 7 towels on me for each service. Sounds a lot, but they're all gone by the end of it. Organize your mise en place. Once you are into service, have all your mise en place, translation, a setup that you need to prepare and plate the dish, organized into containers, inserts, labeled and right where you want it to be. So it's easy and efficient for you to reach and use. You need to know exactly where everything stands, so you can close your eyes and find each item. At some point during the service, it's your muscle memory that's working. There is no time to think where the carrots are. It's your hand muscles that remember that you need to reach over there to get the carrots. Somewhat like dancers do when they don't think about each step. It's their muscles that remember what's the next move. And also, it's considered a deadly sin for another cook to mess up someone's mise en place. In other words, if your colleague needs to borrow your tongs, for example, he or she should ask you first, use it, then clean it and put it right back where they took it from. Cleanliness. This point actually kind of summarizes the previous 4 points. It's very important to always stay clean, not only in terms of your hands and clothes, but most importantly, workstation. That's why you always have a towel next to it. Even during the busiest service, one cannot afford not to clean the workspace. It literally takes 2 seconds to wipe it off every time it gets dirty, which is often, I won't lie, but it takes precious minutes and minutes of your time to clean your mise en place, or God forbid, replace the whole dish if it gets dirty from your workspace. Nobody wants that to happen, and if it does, it means you are in the shit. Sorry, but that's an actual kitchen slang for this situation, which I won't translate as it's quite self-explanatory. Yes, chef. Rule number 1 in the kitchen, chef is always right. And if he or she is not, look up rule number 1. There are only 2 things you can reply to a chef. Yes, chef, and can you please repeat, chef? I did not understand it. That may sound way too strict, but the reason for that is purely for efficiency. When you have 300 covers a night, there is no time for arguments. All the discussions can be postponed for after the service. Meanwhile, kitchen is an army. Food, recycling and sustainability. I've heard that that's a fairly new thing that they've started to teach in culinary schools all around the world, and it's great news for everyone, since restaurant business is one of the biggest polluters in that sense. If most of the home cooks nowadays are starting to realize the importance of proper recycling and composting and implement those strategies, the vast majority of the restaurants are not even nearly there, unfortunately. You know how much of food and recycling you produce in your household a day, cooking 3 meals for your family. Now imagine 100 times that amount. That's how much a large-sized restaurant would waste during the same day. That's why it's super important to teach the young generation of chefs not just why, but how to do a better job at recycling and composting. The other thing that I've learned in the culinary school, that I guess I can also technically mention under recycling, is the ability to cook with the minimum possible waste. Meaning that every peel and every shave of the produce could be used at some other dish. That's actually how many of the new dishes are created in the restaurants, like amuse-bouche and entree plates. If we take those turned potatoes from my previous example, the extra potato shaves that are left will never be composted in the real restaurant. Chefs would gather them, boil or bake and create a new puree dish, or just use it for a stuffed meal. Reusing and minimizing your produce extras is also a great way to minimize the costs. Teamwork. It's really hard to exaggerate the importance of teamwork and positive work environment at the kitchen. Although each person is usually responsible for a specific part of the dish or a specific dish altogether, everyone works together very closely. Many cooks use the same working space, so it's important to have ground rules on how the mise en place is going to be organized and used. Everyone is working at the same, usually very small kitchen, so it's extremely important to keep the atmosphere positive and productive. And 2, 3 or more chefs in fine dining restaurants are often working on the same dish. So again, if someone fucks up, the whole dish is a waste and needs to be redone and replated, which is a huge extra work and stress for the whole team. That's why, while working in the kitchen, everyone is trying to help and support each other in any way possible. There are no individualists at the kitchen, and if there are, they won't survive a night. Kitchen team is a family. They go through a battle each night, and that brings them very close to each other. Speed. While working in the kitchen, chefs are under tight time constraints. Any dish should be started and finished in maximum 15 minutes, and that only goes that far for slow-cooked dishes like steaks. But usually you have 2-3 minutes to get the whole thing done. Now think, how many dishes have you done from scratch in 2 minutes at home? What makes this time constraint even worse is the psychological aspect to that. When you have other 10 dishes that you are expected to get done at the same time, and the fear of getting under crush of complaints and shouts from the chef if you are getting behind your orders. Not even mentioning that all of those dishes have to be executed perfectly to the standards. Otherwise, they'll be sent back and you'll have one more prioritized dish to add to your already long list of orders. While you do not have guests and orders while studying in a culinary school, you are usually expected to present your final dish with the several components to them by certain deadline. And it's always a very tight, what seems like impossible deadline, especially at the beginning of your studies. Here is an example for you. On my last course, when we were expected to prepare from scratch the following dishes in 7 hours. Burger 2 ways, including baking buns, pickling veggies, deboning the whole chicken, deep frying this chicken, making and grilling burger patties from several meats, preparing 2 sauces for this burger from scratch, maple glazed donuts, including proofing and cooking donuts from scratch, preparing the filling and maple glaze, and a salad with a dressing of 19 ingredients. And everything needs to be served not just at a certain time, but also at a certain temperature. So, time management, that's definitely what you will master at a culinary school. Wine basics. That was an unexpected thing for me to learn. And it's very basic information that you are given in the framework of those studies. But it was like an eye-opener for me. I was always someone who had appreciated wine, but I was really intimidated by it at the same time. It all seemed so complicated. Those studies definitely helped me to understand just how accessible this knowledge is to everyone. Even people with very basic palates can grasp the change in wine when it's being paired with different foods, for example. Okay, you watched that far. And thank you for that. I hope you found the information that I've shared with you here useful. If you did, click the like button and definitely subscribe, because there is more of that good stuff coming up. My next video will be posted soon, and I will give you a good way how you can utilize that old stale bread. Remember point 7 from this video? Exactly. Okay, bye for now and see you soon.